Hello YouTube, welcome back to another video. Today I'll be doing system test 25, so let's go ahead and get started. As you can see on the system today, I have older Wheelock devices, specifically Wheelock 7002T series devices. So let's go ahead and overview the system. Starting off in the far end of the basement, I have a Wheelock 7002T-24. This one has a matte black grille inside. This is a slightly older 7002T, but it is a 7002T. It's on a trim plate, which is pretty cool. This is actually a system sensor trim plate, but it does look pretty legitimate, so I actually do like the way it looks. Going over to the pulse station, I have a Notifier NBG10. The BG10 series is probably the more common series of pulse stations that I see realistically with these devices, so I put this Going over to this side of the basement, I have a Firelight BG10. So this is just the nice and standard Firelight BG10. This is actually on its rated back box, which is pretty cool. It does look pretty legitimate that way. And of course, this is a Allen head reset. This is probably from the 80s. I don't see the date code, but this is definitely an older series of pulse stations. And then up here, I have a Wheelock V7001-24. This is basically a 7002T-24, except it's the flush mount version, so you can see it is completely flat. I did have to get creative while mounting this because I have this back box here, which is a space age box, but when I put the device on it, it wasn't perfect because there's a little bit of a gap where you could see the wiring. So then I cut this little plate and it looks somewhat okay, a little janky, but it functions. And this is a rare vertical unit. Going into the fire museum room or storage room, I have a regular 7002T. This one's a little special because it has a really shiny grille. It's almost brand new looking. And you can see that it does have that Wheelock. Actually, no, this one does not have that Wheelock branding. But again, this is a 7002T. And then right next to it, I have a System Sensor 2400 conventional smoke detector. This one's also on its trim plate. You can see a little bit of a color deviation, but for the most part, I do like how that looks. Going into the bathroom, we have a Wheelock WS remote strobe. This right here is actually a higher intensity strobe than everything else. I think it flashes out like 117 candela, but it does sort of match the system, especially with the coloring of the red body. But for the most part, I do like the way this looks here as well on this wire mode back box. So you can take a look at that. Of course, the carbon monoxide setup has remained the same. I don't plan on changing that very often. Going into the main fire panel room, I have a Firelight BG12 or BG10L. So this is the exact same pulse station you see on the other side, except it has a key lock. This one was originally a Firelight BG10LX, so it was addressable, but when I was a kid, I converted it, so that happened. And then up here, I have a Wheelock 7002T. This is probably the pretty conventional standard model that you're used to seeing. It's got the standard grille, standard body, everything that you would probably see when you see a 7002T. So that's that. Of course, we have a 2400 in here as usual. Out here in the garage, I have a Pyrotronics HSD-24. So this is again the exact same thing as a 7002T, but with a Pyrotronics rebrand on it. And then down here, I have a Firelight BG12 or BG10L. This is a Johnson Controls rebrand, but it takes both the Notifier and Firelight keys. But yeah, pretty matching theme here. So let's go ahead and activate the system inside. Without further ado, here we go. 3, 2, 1. this point, we can probably go ahead and reset, but the system would go back into alarm, so we have to reset the pole station. So you can probably tell that this system is quite aged because all of the notification appliances and pole stations are pretty old, and they're definitely showing their age in the sense that they definitely don't sound very smooth anymore. They're pretty raspy, but they do still function, which is good. But you can definitely see why a lot of these systems are being taken out of service, because they are really getting pretty close, if not past, their usable service life. Of course, the automatic fire door closed, which is good, because in the event of a fire, this would genuinely provide some fire separation. Let's go ahead and put that back on the magnet, and we can go ahead and reset the system. Go ahead and push that door back open. Oh, this doesn't even have a nail in it. Fail. I guess we'll use the magnet on a stick and go ahead and test that fire detector. So this detector has one of those delays where you hold a magnet to it, and then the LED is now solid and blinking red. So that's basically a pre-alarm to tell you that the thing is about to activate. Yep. Not gonna lie, I'm using this silver Allen wrench because the other one I left at the other pole station on that counter thing right there, and I'm too lazy to walk the 20 feet over there, so I just went and grabbed a new wrench. This one you don't even have to open all the way. You don't actually have to open any of these. You can just loosen it to the point where the switch can be overridden and then just tighten it. Gotta make sure to not tighten these all the way though, because the plastic will snap. For fun, let's go ahead and set these devices to play code 3 or something. So temporal, and then knack 3, 2. See what that sounds like. See, this was a LX, but I did remove that module. Probably shouldn't have though. Honestly, when I was a kid, I used to convert like everything to conventional, but generally nowadays the addressable versions of these older proprietary devices, well, this one's not really proprietary, but the addressable versions are significantly more rare. So by cutting off addressable modules, that's basically a form of ruining the device, but I guess it doesn't matter since it's in my collection. Let's go ahead and stick this right in that hole. Get it right in there. Here's a little tip for people with these fire door magnets. If you have a door that's pretty light, which this one is because I don't have an actual door closer on it, the way that this is closing is there's just a spring-loaded hinge. So obviously this isn't pulling back on the magnet very much. So it would take a lot of force to pull from the magnet. I just put a little bit of a sticky note on here and I put some tape on it. So this kind of just gets between the door and the magnet, and it makes it a lot easier to pull the magnet from the door without doing any damage. So go ahead and do this detector too. I went ahead and set that system on March time. Obviously, it's not a very conventional coding option, but let's go ahead and do this garage pull station. So push in, then pull down. At this point, it's time for our functional test. So I went ahead and set this up in a way that it'll look kind of legit. So I got this radiator style space heater. I went ahead and put the fog machine behind it, but it's going to simulate this thing catching on fire for whatever reason. So let's go ahead and go for that. Uh-oh, SpaghettiOs. Oh, there it goes. So you can see that a closed door actually would make a difference between smoke spreading everywhere. This door was actually kind of open, but I probably explained this for like 5 minutes every test. So if you watch all of them, then you're probably sick of hearing this. But during a fire, it's really, really important to compartmentalize closed doors on your way out of the building, because you can see in there it's really smoky, but had these doors been shut, there'd be literally nothing out here. And that's why these automatic fire doors and smoke barriers are really important. But yeah, that's that. So I'm gonna go ahead and test the carbon monoxide system, and that'll be that. So test.
Warning, carbon monoxide. Please evacuate the building.
It's really nice to hear an alarm that's not extremely loud and annoying.
Warning, carbon monoxide. Please evacuate the building.
All right, that's gonna do it for today's video. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.